Hi, Chuck Etheridge here with Technical and Professional Writing. The reason I'm laughing is the topic is the Commander Airlines memo, which is an exercise that we did for class last week. One of my hobbies is to collect gloriously bad memos. I know that sounds strange. I also collect bad directions. That's just an aside. So if you buy a product or assembling something, the directions are really bad, please send them to me. I'll have fun reading them, and I will share them with other students, and you will become part of a Hall of Fame or Hall of Honor as well. But we've talked a little bit about workplace and technical and professional writing, and remember the questions. Who's going to read it? What work or what are the actions are they supposed to take? Always write with your audience in mind. Now, we've talked a little bit about the memo format already, and it's organized much the way emails are. To, who is going to receive it, from, who the sender is, the date, and what the subjects are. Now, I want to take a moment to talk about subject lines because I'm willing to admit all of you have email accounts if you're a college student, but even if you check your email regularly, which I do, I don't read probably 80 to 90% of the email I get, and I know it sounds bad, but you just get sent so much stuff. Let me make an aside there. I read all the stuff that comes from my students, but if it doesn't come from my students, you just get so much, you can get bogged in. And as with most people, I judge whether or not I'm going to read an email or memo based on what the subject line is. And so it's important to have good subject lines. Some other things, you should know generally what the main point is or what the most important bit of information is from the first sentence as well. I may have mentioned this in the video last week, but as we learned from our characteristics of good technical writing, people aren't going to read the whole thing. I know that sounds bad, but they're busy. Different audiences will read for different things. But you need to really put everything that's important at the very, very beginning. If it's going to go on a screen, it shouldn't be longer than one screen as well. So that being said, let's turn a little bit about the Air Commander Airlines. To all flight attendants, first of all, we don't really know who the sender is. We found out at the very end it's from the regional managing director of this airlines as well. I also had to roll back down to get that so you can have a sense probably that it's too long. So, as we look at this, as our competitive landscape intensifies and the rapid growth and expansion of our low-cost competitors such as JetBlue and AirTran threatens our survival, I thought it would be appropriate to share with you some eye-opening feedback we've received from some of our corporate accounts. What am I supposed to do with that? If you're an employee for this company, what are you supposed to do with that? I don't know. You don't either. So he goes on, and I won't read the whole thing out loud. He talks about that corporate accounts are important. And then he says the only reason people use our network is our airlines because they have a great global network as well. We also find flight attendants are complain a little bit about the job, complain about salary. They sometimes say we can't honor the request because the company's made cuts. We need to make a positive impression if we're flight attendants. We're afraid to ask the questions. We want to be greeted by name when we come on the airlines as well. Should continue each as a client meeting. But then he goes on to say, well, we value a clean aircraft, dependability, customer service, and consistency. Okay. But you guys are really great air employees. So, well, we really don't know what we're supposed to do with this, are we? I've got lots of different responses from different students to this. I'm going to share one because you have to make choices. And what these two students did was they said, I want to share with you what we've learned from our customers. This is what we've determined needs improvement. And notice the bulleted list. Notice the way this is organized. Just the way lists like this, each new topic is given emphasis by the fact that it's brought out and begins a new line as well. And it doesn't go past the line. Unenthusiastic flight attendants, galley talk, salary cut shouldn't be discussed. Customers should get personal recognition, be happy, make a clean aircraft. That's what the feedback is. That we hope your professionalism will be exemplified as you take what we've learned from this feedback to heart. And I'm not saying it's perfect, but really, when you read something like that, you sort of have to figure out what it is they meant and go from there. But remember, things should always be clear, and these students made the choice, we're going to share feedback from customers. And that's a manageable thing. It makes sense. It's clear. There should be a from. From should be John Doe, the regional commander as well. But this is much improved. And if you read this in your employee, you think, okay, these are some things I should work on. Anyway, I just wanted to give you this as a way of looking at ways that you might have approached this. There's not necessarily a right way to do this, but I thought that this Air Commander's memo, which is a real memo, actually circulated nationally and internationally by like a real company. I was about to name it, but I won't. And I thought that was a useful way to learn a little bit about technical and professional writing. I thank you for your time. I look forward to reading what you came up with in your revisions, and thank you.